Welcome to our podcast, where we cover interesting and fascinating stories for you. In this episode, we will discuss terrifying 350-year-old vampire burial practices revealed. In a chilling discovery, archaeologists have found grisly details of how people buried an elite female vampire some 350 years ago. The grave of the real-life vampire was unearthed 2 years ago at a medieval graveyard in Poland. The researchers have dubbed the vampire Zosia, and in the new illustrations, the 18-year-old vampiress has been depicted as having fair skin, short hair, blue eyes, and a single protruding incisor tooth. Zosia had a silk cap on her head when she was laid to rest, which showed that she was from a family of high social status. However, she was accused of evil, and hence her skeleton was only found with a sickle across her neck and a giant padlock on her toe, amongst others in the gravesite. Speaking to the Daily Mail, Professor Dariusz Poliński, who had carried out the recent research on Zosia with study partner Magda Zagrodzka, said, "It can be assumed that for some reason, those burying the woman were afraid that she would rise from the grave. Perhaps they feared she was a vampire. According to the experts, people used to fit the sickle and padlock to the corpse as a form of double protection because they feared that the vampire would rise from the grave. It was believed that the sickle would ensure the vampire got decapitated if she tried to rise from her grave. The sickle was not laid flat, but placed on the neck in such a way that if the deceased had tried to get up, most likely the head would have been cut off or injured," Poliński said. The digital scan of Zosia's skull was taken by a facial recognition expert, and a copy was made using a 3D printer. Medical investigator Dr. Heather Edgar examined the bone scans at the University of New Mexico and discovered an abnormality in the breastbone of Zosia, which suggested that she had a physical deformity which may have given her great pain. The signs of restraint were found in 30 out of the 100 graves, because of which the site was nicknamed as the Field of Vampires. Poliński said that people had built the cemetery specifically for those who had been excluded from the community. However, they had left all the graves unmarked and no written records were available about the bodies. The faces of some of these bodies were turned down and a few were weighed down with stones. In some bodies, coins were placed in their mouths. Ways to protect against the return of the dead include cutting off the head or legs, placing the deceased face down to bite into the ground, burning them, and smashing them with a stone, said Poliński, speaking to the Daily Mail. Since the sickle was placed over the neck of Zosia, she was said to be most feared by those who killed her. According to a report published in Science Alert, by the 17th century, unusual burial practices became common across Poland in response to a reported outbreak of vampires. We have many more such compelling episodes for you. Enjoy them. Do share your opinion in the comment box and subscribe to us for more.